Here's how I went from a generalist graphic designer to a super specified role like a Notion certified consultant for creative businesses and individuals. Hi, I'm Jenny. I work as a Notion certified consultant as well as a coach for creative professionals. And when I first graduated, I immediately started working at a content marketing agency, and I was there for about 8 years. During that whole time, I was juggling maybe 4 to 5 projects at a given time, and everything that I could, I threw into Evernote, and that was my original system. But there were a lot of limitations with the app, and that was until my friend Bridget actually shared Notion with me. She sent it to me in a text message. I was able to just fall in love completely with Notion because it gave me the freedom to create this really flexible hierarchy so I could dive so deep into my individual projects, and it helped me filter a really noisy and really crazy looking creative process. If you are someone who is a graphic designer who is using Notion to document your process, I would strongly suggest that you treat it as this safe space, almost like your sketchbook, where you're free to explore all these different ideas. And as I was building all of these things in my Notion, it started to become this armor or this weapon that I would bring with me into all of my meetings with my clients as well as my teams. And I always felt ready to take on whatever was headed my way because I had my Notion at my side. I had all of these notes that I could fall back on and rely on that was always based on data and research that I myself experienced. So that's why I fell in love with Notion. And because of all of the power it gave me as a designer, I wanted to bring that to others too. And that's when I found the Notion Certified Consultant program. So if you're interested in getting certified or becoming a consultant yourself, these are the 4 steps that I took to become a Notion certified consultant. Now, the process looks like this. Step 1 is laying the foundation. So gathering all of the assets and preparing for your application. The second step is submitting the application. So actually submitting it via the form, and then going through a practical exercise and making sure that I'm passing that as well. So that was the order that I took the exam back in January 2022. And right now you can get Notion certified before all of those. So if you're someone who's interested in just getting Notion certified and not becoming a consultant, you can just pass the exam without needing to create all of the different resources. So at the time of recording this video, I know that the Notion consultants are actually going to be putting a pause on the application process. So no worries, go directly to the Notion website to see all of those details and just see what the process looks like now. But I'm going to talk about what I went through back when I applied in 2022. So the first step is laying the foundation. Now, this completely started with me creating a bunch of different resources on my YouTube channel, like how to create a productivity system, how to organize visual inspiration, how to manage design projects, how to access a Notion database. And on my Instagram, I created a series of carousels that were talking about Notion, like turning feedback directly into action. From there, I had a bunch of resources now to share with other people. Now, online community engagements is part of the requirements of the application that you need to be participating and also provide screenshots. And so when I was first applying and looking into communities, I joined productivity Facebook groups, Notion Facebook groups, or Discord servers, and I never felt really comfortable. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way too in online spaces, is sometimes it can get a little overwhelming with a lot of different people. So I never felt particularly comfortable in online productivity communities. But what I found was I was already in some online spaces for graphic design as well as coaching. Now, because I was on the same journey as the people who were in those groups, I felt a lot more comfortable sharing about Notion because I knew exactly, or I didn't know exactly. I knew very similarly what their process was, so I knew how to provide the best and very specific guidance for them on using Notion in their work. Reaching out to graphic designers, helping out coaches, I understood that process very well. So when you're comfortable talking to your creative peers, it makes it a lot easier to offer guidance, because now all of a sudden you're not trying to become this or come at people as a guru or as some expert. You're just coming as a friend. And I felt a lot more comfortable doing that. And that's where I was able to share a lot of my different resources. Now, after sharing these resources on my YouTube and on my Instagram, people who were following me were seeing them. That's when I started working with clients. And my very first client actually reached out to me after seeing some of my content. She was interested and she was kind of thanking me for what I was sharing and that it was helpful. And so I invited her to be among my first group of clients, and she was excited, and I was excited too, because it was getting to be real. So as I was working with my very first client, I also had 2 other clients that I myself reached out to. I was so excited to work with clients directly, one-on-one, because it's a different experience than working with a group or a team or an agency. So I was able to take all of my clients through my one-on-one sessions, and that not only became the blueprint for my coaching program, the Creative Flow Academy, but I was able to create case studies based off all of my experiences and what we were able to build together in the submission for the application. The problem that I faced, though, was the client that I met on Zoom. She didn't share her testimonial with me, and she stopped responding to my emails. So I had to find another way to create a case study for my application. And at that point, I had created a couple templates. First one was I created a template for my friend who owns a photography business. She was able to utilize the template for her business, and that was treated as a case study because she was using it and applying it directly to her business. Another case study that I was able to create was this template that I created for our trip to Disneyland, and that one I was really excited to share because it was such a fun experience, and it was just something that I love being able to share with my friends as well. If you're somebody who's if you're working with clients on a design level, working with clients in a coaching or consultant kind of level is also really similar but different, because not only are you communicating a little bit deeper, but you're still guiding the process and you're still contributing and thinking of what the best direction is. It took some time to get comfortable with, but it was some of the most rewarding experiences that I've had, and it has been a little bit more rewarding than being able to successfully do graphic design. I don't know. It's just, I personally really love working with my coaching clients. For the application, when I was working with clients, creating resources, or even engaging in communities, all of those things took a really long time. It took several months, and I think I started in February of 2021. And so because that took so much time, I didn't realize how fast the application process would go. And it was just a random day in January. Actually, to the day, this year to the day, it's been since I randomly just checked out the application process and realized, oh, hey, I actually have everything I need for the application process. And I was like, maybe I'll just send it in. I'm just gonna slip in my application and just, see what happens. And then they came back and they're like, hey, you need to take the certification first. So I had to take this exam, and the exam was the base level certification exam for Notion. So if you're someone who's interested in just being certified in utilizing Notion, then this might be the place where you stop. But as a general certification, it's about 60 minutes of multiple choice, and you get 90 minutes to complete it. It's timed. You're not allowed to have a Notion up or any notes up on your computer. And so I went in, going in with what I knew. I was just like, I'm just gonna try what I know. And so the score of 70% or greater gets you the certification, and I got 75%. So that means I barely passed. So if I missed like 3 more questions, I wouldn't have made it, but whew, it was cool. So the next step after that was earning the consultant designation. Now, the way to earn the consultant designation on top of the certification is by passing a practical exam. Now, after I sent in my application, they sent over a brief via Notion with this hypothetical business, as well as what their goals were and what they were aiming to do. And this is the part that I had the most fun. And I think it's when you're given the opportunity to create something and you're just given the space, I think, especially as a designer, it can be really exciting because you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw some of this in there, some of like my favorite things. And I think at that point when you're able to play and put in all of your abilities into something, it can be the most exciting part. That was this for me. And with the practical exercise, I started with creating a roadmap. I created all these little sticky notes and I assembled them all together to create the roadmap of the workspace. And I used all of the information that I had within the brief. I was able to organize all of the different databases as well as all the tables and properties that needed to be included for this Notion to work. And so I didn't even jump into Notion until I had all this information and figured this out at this point. Because it's something that I do with all of my workspace clients, and something that I help my coaching clients learn how to do as well, is instead of jumping directly into Notion, really understanding what you're trying to build before you do that, so you're thinking about the value that you're creating or the product that you're building instead of getting distracted by the tool and service itself. So that's what I did. I jumped right into creating my roadmap, and from there I was able to create my Notion really easily because I had everything that I needed all color-coded, and I was able to compile this, submit this into Notion, and I received I received an email saying that my practical exercise was exemplary, and that was really exciting because I was really proud of it, and for them to also recognize that it was something that was really good made me feel so good. They even had feedback on what I can do to like slightly improve it, and it was just really, it felt really personalized, and I felt like I actually accomplished something. So that was how I became a Notion certified consultant. Now I wanted to share a little bit about the timeline from the beginning to the end, and from my very first client that I signed on, that was February 1st of 2021, and going through working with clients throughout that whole year, doing community engagement, going through the application process, passing the certification exam, doing and sending in the practical exam, and until getting officially certified on February 1st in 2022. That is kind of an abbreviation of my own journey, and I still am really excited to be a Notion certified consultant today and helping businesses with Notion, because it's constantly a moving target of learning and understanding and sharing. And I think the fact that I started while I was a graphic designer and it was something that I had fun doing made it all the easier to transition into, because I already started when I was getting lost in all of my different projects. So if you are someone who is interested in becoming a Notion certified consultant, visit the website to see what the latest requirements are in case things have changed. But if you have any questions on my process that I haven't been able to answer in this video, feel free to comment below. And otherwise, I will see you in another video. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna stop it. Stop.